Computers have always fascinated me. There was something amazingly enticing about programming. You created your own universe and you were master of it. The computer would do anything you programmed it to do. It was this unbelievable sandbox in which every grain of sand was under your control. It got really interesting when I was working in the Network Measurement Center at UCLA. A group of us were working together to set up the first few nodes of the ARPANET, which ultimately would lead to today's Internet. We were mostly graduate students trying to solve all the logistical problems of connecting a bunch of computers so they could talk to each other. Steve Crocker at UCLA started a group called the Network Working Group to collaborate on these issues. That group included students from UCLA, Stanford, the University of Utah, and UC Santa Barbara, and grew to include other collaborators on the net. Frankly, we were rank amateurs and always expected that some authority would come along and tell us how the host protocol should be done, but nobody ever came along, so we just kept working on it, and the network kept growing. Bolt, Beranek & Newman was a professional engineering firm that designed and built the subnetwork while we worked on the hosts. After the ARPANET was up and running, I went to Stanford, and Bob Kahn, who had also worked for BB&N on the project, went to DARPA. At some point, Bob came to my lab at Stanford and asked the key question. He wanted to know, how could we arrange it so that a computer on a satellite net or a mobile radio net or the ARPANET could communicate with one another without realizing what was going on in between? This led us to the idea of a gateway computer between networks that would route packets back and forth. The problem was that each network transmitted packets in different ways using their own protocols. So a new standard was needed to link all the networks. What we came up with was the Transmission Control Protocol, commonly known as TCP. This enclosed the information packets in electronic envelopes that would be sent end-to-end and standardized regardless of content. So all TCP envelopes would work seamlessly across all networks. Later, we split off part of the TCP protocol, forming the Internet Protocol, to handle the actual transport of the packets, creating today's TCP/IP protocol. Around this time, Xerox invented the Alto personal computer and began developing their own Internet with proprietary protocols. Later, hardware manufacturers began selling Internet routers to universities so they could develop their own networks. The NSFNet emerged in the mid-1980s, as did other government-sponsored networks. We saw the commercial potential, but the ARPANET and NSFNet were strictly for government and educational use. So in the late 1980s, we went to the government and persuaded them to allow commercial use of the Internet. They said we could try it for 1 year. The first commercial connection was to MCI Mail, followed by a whole range of competing email services. For a while, email was the predominant commercial use of Internet. About this time, 3 commercial Internet service providers emerged: UUNet, PSINet, and SurfNet. We wanted to open up the technology so everyone on the planet would have the opportunity to participate, innovate, and take the Internet places where we never could have imagined. I think we accomplished that goal. From 1969 to 2013, we went from 50,000 users of the ARPANET to nearly 3 billion users of the Internet worldwide. That kind of growth requires some serious thinking. The Internet was designed to scale, and it has grown by a factor of 1 million in its 30 years of operation. Billions of users all over the world have adapted it to their own purposes. With personal computers, smartphones, tablets, and other smart devices now virtually ubiquitous, we need to expand ways to address our machines. The initial IP version 4 addressing system had 4.3 billion addresses. The new IPv6 system has 340 trillion IP addresses. Lots of other problems also need to be solved: security issues, the political ramifications of an international Internet, and regulation of Internet commerce. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. All of us who helped give birth to the Internet are proud of the vast opportunities it made possible, but it's clearly time to help it evolve into something better. Our reward for rethinking the Internet is that there is room not only for innovation, but also revolution. We can imagine a better Internet, and we can make that happen. The truth about the Internet is that it was designed to be a work in progress. So put on your thinking cap and let's take the next step into the future together.